Hey, Shalom, Kal Hala, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Chakodash, the ones and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways doing the works sincerely and faithfully and continually fighting the good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are found in that number to be delivered. All right. So as we understand and we know of the hopeful elect that the times that are coming are some dire times. All right. And you'll be hard pressed to find a GMS camp from the head apostles on down who are not talking about the tragedies and the catastrophes and you know, whatever fees you want to put in it. This is what we're talking about. These are the things that we've been talking about in each and every brother's video. Somewhere along the line, throughout the course of brothers' videos and brothers' shows, we go into the fact that we're coming into those real bad times, man. All right. Meanwhile, you got, you know, people that want to ask, you know, foolish questions, man. Foolish questions. Shit that don't even pertain to anything but someone's pride being hurt. All right? You people going to find out real soon, you know, how serious you should have been taking this thing. Okay? As you see here, the coming catastrophes, the beginning of sorrows. All right? And the scriptures speak about the beginning of sorrows. And you people are so blind and so naive that you don't realize you're in the midst of the beginning of these sorrows, man. These things are happening. These things are rolling out. And because you don't have the spiritual eye to see it, you know, you go about your daily life and your daily business as if, you know, things are going to get better soon. Shit ain't going to get no better, man. Don't you know Babylon is on its way out? So think of it on a global scale. If Babylon's on its way out, then you can best believe that anything that's coming up in these next coming months, you know, Lord willing, we get the hell out of here sooner than later. But I'm gonna say it this way: anything in these upcoming months, it's only gonna get worse, man. Never ever to return to the way it was. Never ever. Okay? And it says the beginning of sorrows. So let's go from here. Go to the book of Matthew 24, and I'm going to start at verse 6. And it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." Now, you really don't hear too much about the wars and the rumors of wars because you're being so consumed with this pandemic shit. You're being so consumed about the serpent's venom. All right? You're being so consumed about who's taking it and who hasn't taken it. But this is designed strategically to keep you in the dark. All right? If you would ask somebody, some average person out there, hey, do you think we're going to war soon? They're going to be like, what? War? What kind of war? What are you talking about? This is how blind the masses are, man. Okay? It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled." Now we understand that these things are happening. We have the hope for the elect. So we're not troubled. As a matter of fact, we embrace this. These are the times and the days that we've been waiting for. You know? And expressing this to somebody in the world, they're going to think, oh, what's wrong with this guy? Now, let me say this, right? There was a situation, you know, at where I work, and this guy came in, and he had been in a couple institutions, and the reason why he was in these institutions was because he was labeled a what they call him? They called him a religious extremist. That's what they called him. Now, did he have may he have had some type of, you know, condition? Yeah, I believe so, just by watching him. But I'll say this: he had made a statement, and he quoted 1 Thessalonians 5:8. He quoted that, right? And when he said that, I was like, oh, okay. I listened up a little bit, and I'm listening, and this dude, man, he called himself a Christian, But he was, he was kind of saying, listen, I don't need nobody to be my guardian. I know how to navigate through this thing, boom, boom, boom. And they just kept referring to him as a religious extremist. So now, here you have people that believe that the Lord is coming back. I mean, and I'm talking about people outside of this thing of ours. Do they classify these people as religious extremists? You see how this works? So if you're a so-called black man, Latino man, or Native American, and you believe and you have faith in Babylon the Great, your faith is going to determine how much of an extremist you are. You hear that? Your faith is going to determine in Babylon how much of an extremist you are. And this is why when this devil has the green light, he's going to be sparing none in slaughtering all those that fear the Lord and that believe. All right? When I read see that ye be not troubled, that triggered that thought in my mind. All right? So those of us who have total faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and believe on this word, we are going to be labeled, religious extremists, which we already are at this point. All right, so let me continue back on. All right, back in verse 6, it says, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, so these are the things that are going to come to pass. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. And as I stated earlier, the majority of you people don't even realize you are already in the phases of the beginning of these sorrows, man. Sorrows are here. All right. But now they're going to magnify. They're going to get larger. They're going to get more, more direct. All right. So it mentioned, we'll go back. It mentioned one of the first ones. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. This thing about famine is going to play a major role in this country, man. Now, Elder Yashawamba, once again, I'll make reference to it again, did a lesson, and his lesson was entitled, The Just Shall Live by Faith. All right? And he pulled up an article on I believe it was RT News. Now, let's just rehash and listen to what his article says. He's going to read it out. So let's listen to that, Elder Yashawamba.
Right. U.S. Treasury Deputy Secretary warns unjust Americans that shortages will continue until everyone is stabbed. Madness. All right.
Hold on one second.
U.S. Treasury is unto the elect. And as you can see, all right, the devil is not going to stop. All right. U.S. Treasury Deputy Secretary warns unjust Americans that shortages will continue until everyone is stabbed. Madness. All right.
You see that?
And you see the time. 11:44, 144. Call hello, y'all about Shemel Shai. As you can see, it says the Deputy Secretary at the U.S. Treasury has put Americans on notice that the only way to end the plague of empty shelves around the country is for every resident to become juiced up. The frank warning came off as a threat to many. All right, now, when you listen to this line.
All right, so that's the point he made. The shelves being empty. All right, that's going to drive people to their feet. All right, and you're starting to see the shortages in these supermarkets. When you go in there, they ain't shit on the shelves, man. All right, but because you're being rocked to sleep, you're not gonna you're not going to be able to identify what's happening. All right? But the time is coming where you're going to find out and you're going to understand that the scriptures and the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushai were true. You see? You're going to find out real soon. Because why? The scriptures say so. That's why. It says, there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All right? You ain't going to be too concerned about the earthquakes. People aren't going to be concerned about no earthquakes. All right? This pestilence, which you now known as C-19, okay? It's here. Now it's kind of been, pushed under the rug a little bit. But you're not really concerned about that. Most people here in Babylon are starting to read between the lines. All right, so there's really not that kind of fear as there was when this thing first popped off. All right, so people ain't worried about that. But you can best believe that when famine starts to roll out, there's no food, there's no water, all right, there's no supermarkets, there's no truckers, there's no refrigeration systems, all that shit. When all that shit collapses and goes under, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? Now, this is 2 Ezra 16. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. A lot of people are going to succumb to this famine. All right? And this devil is willing to put look at it like this, man. He's willing to put the squeeze on you, right? Look what he did. When C-19 first came around, look at all these big corporations and these big businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses. He shut that shit down, man. Shut it down. You know how much revenue has been lost? Think about it. For them to shut down the NBA, NFL, NHL, NBA, or what if I mentioned that? All these sporting events and all these, sporting arenas, these arenas that generate millions and millions upon millions of dollars. If he's willing to shut that shit down, ain't no telling what he's willing to do, man. So mind you, the driving force of these devils and what they have planned is they're going to starve you out. Sort of like what they did when Israel was up in Masada. Nothing went in and nothing came out. Okay? This devil has the blueprint for every action that he does, man. He's read the history. All right? He's dug into the history of war, the art of war. He still uses, Alexander the Greek. He still uses his techniques in the art of war. All right? This is nothing new. These things that are happening aren't new. So he's going to know how to starve a country out. He's going to know how to starve the people out, force their hand. And there's many other things that this devil got up his sleeve that you people aren't even nowhere near aware of. Okay? And it says, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? That's a question a lot of you people should be asking yourselves. What are you going to do when these evils shall come? All right? Because the prophets who are on the highways and byways, you choose not to believe. Primarily the men of Great Millstone, from the head apostles on down. You choose not to believe. You've heard all these things about the men of Great Millstone, right? All throughout the years. We was this, we was that. How they're racist, they're rapists, they're child pedophiles, they're all everything you can possibly imagine. You have heard about the men of Great Millstone. But the same conclusion always comes to the head. Nobody can gainsay nor resist the words that we speak through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You either love us or hate us. All right? And even those who hate us still can't resist. They still get drawn in, and they still watch hundreds and hundreds of shows. You see? But you should be asking yourself this question. What are you going to do when these evils shall start? 33. This is Ezekiel 33, and I'm going to start at, I'll start at 1. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, okay? If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he bloweth the trumpet and warn the people. This is what we do. Okay? And it's not, and it's one of those things now, it's inside of us. It's inherently inside of us. We blow the trumpet. We are watchmen. We are the servants of the Lord. We are the prisoners of the Lord. Okay? This is the job that we have been set up to do, to blow the trumpet and to warn the people. Whether, like the scriptures say, whether they hear or forbear, we still have to blow that trumpet. All right? So the Lord has set us up as those watchmen. The Lord has set us up as those trumpet blowers. Okay? To do what? To warn the people. Verse 4. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and take not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. Right? And because you're hearing the word, the trumpet being blown by the men of Great Millstone, in the so-called history that you heard of us, you ain't taking warning. You are not taking warning. Instead, you're listening to people who are going to tell you to go get chipped. You're going to listen to people who are going to tell you to go receive that venom. You're resorting back to people who are going to tell you that you're never going to see any time of Jacob's trouble. You see? And this is where you're going to fall. This is where you're going to fall. The scriptures say, if the blind leadeth the blind, they shall both fall in a ditch. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. Verse 5. It says, he heard the sound of the trumpet, and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh the warning shall deliver his soul. All right. So this is what we do. This is how we know that the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai is resting upon the men of Great Millstone, primarily the head apostles, because they, through their teachings, have raised us up, and the Lord gave the increase, of course, but we have been raised up now to blow that trumpet in a proper manner. You see? Now, let's go to verse 6. It says, but if the watchman seeth the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at the watchman's hand. Okay? So you have men out there who've read these scriptures, who've been in a spirit of understanding at one point, but what? Now they choose not to warn the people. They choose not to blow the trumpet. All right? So these people are going to die, and their blood is going to be upon that non-watching watchman. You see how this works? Verse 7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. Okay? This is what's happening, man. We're warning you through the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Verse 8. And it says, when I say unto the wicked. Now, a lot of people get this misunderstood, man. A lot of people misunderstand this. This wicked is talking about the house of Israel. It's not talking about Esau, Edom. All right? Because there's no repentance and no place of salvation for Esau, Edom. So let's read what it says. Verse 8. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die. If thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Okay? So let's read it again. When I say unto the wicked, all right, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way. That wicked man shall die in his iniquity. All right? So we've been made a watchman to the house of Israel. So this is who we're talking to. The wickedness and the wicked of the children of Israel. Okay? So that being said, man, these things that we're telling you and that we're warning you about are the sorrows that are now here. And it's only going to get worse. You know? And some of you Israelites out there, you leave the work up for others to do. Let them do it. Let them take care of it. You know this word. You always prophesied, or you was out there prophesying. You know, you're doing shows, and all of a sudden, something came over you, and you just, men are out there doing it, so I don't have to do it. The Lord's going to require your blood as well, man. You haven't escaped the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And a lot of you people think you have. A lot of you people think you've escaped that judgment, but you haven't. All right? So, all that being said, in conclusion, the beginning of sorrows is not going to be a good time, man. This thing is about to start happening. People are going to start dying. People are going to die of hunger. People are going to die of illness. People are going to die of all types of mental anguish. People are going to bug out. But we have a job to do. And our job is to warn you. We are the watchmen of the house of Israel. And the sorrows that are coming for you, man. You better recognize and ask the Lord for understanding and repent. Because you will be taken. All right? So, Lord willing, I'm going to see you, brother, in another show. I say shalom.